we are. Cheers.
Cheers.
And welcome to the Richie Rich and Westifer Show. We're coming to you live from West Hollywood. We're talking about today's trending topics and asking our sex question of the week.
Ooh, it's a wet one this week.
Mm-hmm.
Pun intended.
Speaking of wet, I just spilled a little wine on myself.
Are you sure that was wine?
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it was. So we asked this week, have you ever participated in water sports? Now, water sports, of course, meaning, peeing on
Raging waters.
Or, yeah.
I thought you meant water slides.
No. I made that pretty clear in the poll.
Like not Soak City and...
Yeah.
Never mind.
Let's hope not.
JK.
I mean, any public pool. So that's our sex question of the week. We do it every week. We put up a poll on Twitter and we ask our listeners, and we had a pretty good response to this one, actually. Mm-hmm. So we'll get to that at the... Yeah. Well, I said no judgment on this one, so I mean, you nasty house.
And you were a fool for believing that we're going to judge the fuck out of you. I'm just kidding.
It's what we do.
It is.
So we will get to that at the end of the episode. That will be the icing on the cake, so to speak. And before that, of course, we will get to all of our topics this week. There seemed like a lot going on this week.
Yeah, and random
arenas. Stuff, and like politically and celebrities. Like we have, a bunch of celebrity stuff like Calvin Harris, Taylor Swift. We have Stacey Dash, Game of Thrones, Selena, Angeline. We have some tech news with Apple. We have a bunch of gay news this week as well.
A really gay week.
Yeah, gay stuff. Including that hashtag heterosexual pride day. I roll. Hashtag I roll. Now, before we get to all of our topics, we have some shout-outs.
Yay!
Yeah. Who do you want to shout out this week?
I am shouting out Shady Music Facts on Twitter. And they have two accounts. One got shut down, actually, oddly enough. Hello, penis pictures. That's for later on.
Oh, yeah, we were just looking at another hashtag.
That we'll get to later.
Yes.
They are at Music Facts Shady. They are your inside source for all types of chart information. It's really funny. It's kind of informational as far as music goes, but it's also very, very shady. So they'll throw up things like, do you know that this artist sold more than Beyonce in like 1992? And they're fair, they're unbiased. They kind of talk shit about everyone at the same time, kind of like us.
Well, we love that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Hey, actually, since I actually just brought the Twitter, and they just put that The Duchess by Fergie sold more than any Beyonce album.
True.
Which
And
is
you know
funny.
what? That is something that didn't make our topics, and I meant to say Fergie fucking rocked my world this week.
Yes.
Her new song came out. She's coming back strong. Her new song is awesome. And yeah, her Duchess album was like huge.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, it was great, and it sold like fucking
Yeah.
So.
The Duchess by Fergie outsold all of Beyonce's solo albums. But they do things like that, and they'll go ahead and talk shit about Fergie next week. They're very unbiased.
Sure.
They just kind of throw out facts, and they're Shady Music Facts. They live true to their name, so
they live
shout
up
out
to
to
it.
them. Who you shouting out this week?
I am going to shout out to another podcast, Personally Speaking. It's a monthly podcast that does just individual stories. So they always have kind of a guest on the show who tells a story. And obviously they have various topics each time. And so we're giving her a little shout out and a follow as well. And as they're going to give us a shout out on their podcast.
Awesome.
I think the next one is coming up. I don't know if it's this week or next week, but there's a new one coming up within the next couple weeks. So follow Personally Speaking, and there'll be a new episode in the next couple weeks. So shout out to you. And that's it for shout outs, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we should move on to our
dive into
topics. Yeah. So the first topic that I had on my list, just because we've had this a couple of times, is the whole Calvin Harris, Taylor Swift breakup thing going on, whatever. And there's like all of these stories right now about, well, first, like everyone thought that, they broke up because Taylor cheated and all this stuff. And then now there are all these stories that, no, it was in fact Calvin, and there's a dick pic to prove it that's been circulating, and that Taylor's manipulative management team.
Did you just say dick pic?
Yes.
I have not seen this.
Oh, you haven't seen? Okay, so I should have Googled the story. There's a story that Calvin's been hooking up with, on the side, and there was actually a dick pic to prove that was obviously sent on a certain date, and they're supposed to be together. Clearly,
was it him?
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Damn, I'm sorry. I like dick pics. I'm sorry,
I know, you're obsessed with dick pics this week. Jesus.
I like penises. I'm sorry.
So the whole story was that initially, because Taylor's team didn't want her to seem like the victim, they made it seem like she's the one that broke up with him. And I guess he kind of played along with it. But now, I think the Daily Mail and some other, because he's not like an American.
Yeah,
star.
he's completely international.
Yeah. So the Daily Mail, of course, is all on top of it and kind of broke the story that he was the one. Blah 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 blah. All leading to the fact that, and I'm sorry I do not have it for you, Richie Rich, but I can confirm I have seen the dick pic.
I'm Googling right now.
Oh, you can't find it.
What?
No.
I find everything.
I saw the pic. I didn't see just the picture. I saw the screen grab of the conversation from the girl who sent it to her friends. That's what I saw. And that's why I don't have a copy of it, because my friend was like, no, I can't send it to you because it has everyone's name attached to it.
What?
And I was like, wait a minute. First of all, your phone has an edit feature.
Yeah.
Second of all, you're trying to protect this fucking hoe, knowing she hooked up with someone who clearly had a girlfriend and then had him send her a dick pic so she could share it with her friends.
I'm so mad at you right now.
So we had to...
That's it. I'm quitting this podcast.
We had to do a comparison because you can't see his whole face. You can only see the bottom chin.
Okay.
And his chest.
And the survey says?
It's kind of like under dick. Oh, not it's very nice.
I meant is it him? Not
it appeared, yes, to be him. His chest looked the same. He had some moles that were basically kind of lined up. When everyone knew that was Blake Lively because they were like, yeah, bitch, but you got a mole right there. Kind of the same thing.
Damn it, I'm so pissed right now.
You're not going to find it on Google. It's not out on Google.
I'm so upset.
With that actually tells
I'm legit throwing a 3-year-old bitch fit right now.
That actually does tell you how powerful both Taylor and Calvin's management team is, if they can suppress something like that.
And how powerful my thirst for
the fact that people are writing about it, but can't publish the photo or won't. The Daily Mail is not going to publish a dick pic, but
I'm legit upset about this. I'm sorry, but I am.
Yeah, and it's nice.
By the way, if you want to send me dick pics, please feel free. RichRich909 on Twitter.
Oh, it's getting hot in here. So yes, I've seen the dick pic.
And you're a dick.
We took a lengthy, investigative look to compare photos of Calvin.
Give me 1 week on Tumblr. I'll find this shit.
All right. I tell you what. You find what you think is the picture, and I'll confirm if that's
perfect. Sounds good.
Because I think I've committed it to memory.
Okay.
So whatever. Nothing in Hollywood is real, basically, except dick pics. God, I hope it's real. I'd be so pissed if that was photoshopped or something.
Oh, God, that means it's nice. I'm so upset.
It really is.
Okay, shut the fuck up. Okay. Next topic. Next. I'm sick of this.
Well, we have some more celebrity stuff, so let's get to all of our celebrity stuff and then our gay stuff.
Okay.
All right, so you brought up Stacey Dash.
Oh, this bitch. God, once my childhood favorite actress / favorite character in a movie
she had so much
has now turned to my adulthood pain in the ass and / idiot.
Just embarrassing.
So Stacey Dash had an interview with Meredith Vieira, and she claimed that women don't get paid less than men in the workforce, and that if women weren't getting paid what they thought they would, and they need to work harder, and if you need to be extraordinary, you be extraordinary, and there's no reason why you should be looked down upon because you're a woman, and this just doesn't exist, and blah 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 blah, basically saying that women are lazy. Well, then good old internet went up and dug up her past. And in 2004, Miss Dash was living off a $6,000 a month handout from her fiance.
Ooh.
She also filed for bankruptcy, but didn't seem like she was working hard back then. It seemed like she was just working smarter, not harder.
To file bankruptcy. It takes a lot to spend that much cash. Oh my God.
Yeah, so she wasn't trying to work that damn hard when she was getting $6,000 a month from her fiance.
Yeah, well, that's always how it goes. I mean, there's kind of this thing with America in general, and I know she's a conservative, and I don't have honestly a problem with like fiscal conservatism or the idea that you can build any dream you want here. There's kind of this sentiment of like you can pick yourself up by the bootstraps.
Yeah.
But what I don't think some people, certainly not people like Stacey Dash, even understand is like some people don't have any fucking boots.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So you cannot just like pull yourself up on the bootstraps. They are in a position where they're getting the shaft, basically.
I mean, mind you, this is a woman whose first roles before Clueless were half naked, basically soft porn.
Mm-hmm. And she still kind of does that for
B movies,
like FHM, and
I mean, come on, like,
and
I'm not slut shaming anyone. If you heard last week's episode, we were completely pro slut.
Yeah,
but don't act like you've done all of this for yourself without.
I've worked so hard.
And everyone else needs to too. And if you persevere, you persevere. Shut the fuck up. I mean, seriously. God.
Yeah, bye.
Uh-huh. Enough of her. She's going to piss me off. But
I've heard a lot of the comparisons, females in the workplace and all this stuff. And I think we're still hearing a lot about what creates, these different kind of tiers of pay scales or whatever. And I don't think you can make blanket statements. It's always like this. There certainly are women in power. There are certainly very rich women. I mean, look at Oprah. But you certainly
talk about picking up your bootstraps.
Oh yeah. I mean, and there are places that are very dominated by women and women in power. Certain like administrations and things like that. Almost all women. So those certainly exist, but you have to look at the broader spectrum and recognize like where that's kind of coming in. And that generally when we're talking about that, you're looking at the very richest people in the world, and they're pretty much like men. And Oprah. And Oprah. So yeah, you gotta, I don't know, you can't just say like pick up your bootstrap or just work harder.
Yeah.
Because people are working fucking
easier
hard.
Fucking said than done. Like
people are working hard.
Yes.
But if they don't have the advantages of,
They would love to have your $6,000 a month in fucking 2004.
Sure. Or even, to her, whatever talent she has, whatever beauty she has, she certainly used that to her advantage to get, movie roles and whatever.
Which is totally fine.
But not everyone's blessed with that.
Exactly.
So, work harder. Bitch. Whatever, bitch. What do you guys think? Do you agree with Stacey or...
If you do, feel free to unsubscribe. Just kidding, I'm not.
Let us know. Okay, we'll move on to our next topic. Of course, this was all over social media this week. And I know you saw the first episode of Game of Thrones this season, right? Or did you catch up with it at all?
I saw the first episode. I saw the first episode of the series, and then I just saw this past episode. I still don't know what the fuck is going on because I've not watched any of the show. It was highly entertaining.
Yeah.
There's a lot that made me go, what the hell is going on within the first 10 minutes of it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
you're not really
on that note,
take over, Wes. Yeah, a lot of people definitely... I didn't want to spoil anything because I think because so many people post about this on social media, it becomes bigger and bigger and
it's
bigger.
It's been a week. You can spoil it. Just do it.
Well, there's not a lot that I would really even spoil, but it certainly was a pretty big conclusion to the season. Everyone was talking about it. All of these little characters that's been in development. I mean, now you really see like it's on. It's on. You know, they're all in position. Everything is like ready. So
shit's getting ready to get real.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. I think there's like 2 seasons left. I mean, they'll probably try to milk it. I'm curious if they'll try to milk it for like another one, or just keep going, or do like a prequel, or do like a, I don't know. So are you gonna go back and try to catch up on your Game of Thrones?
That's a lot. 6 seasons is fucking a lot.
Yeah, and they're like
I mean, you know my schedule. I'm pretty fucking booked up.
Yeah, they're like hour-long episodes.
Just with work in general. So I'd have to literally like just dedicate every free moment I have to just watching it, which I'm down for. It's just a lot of fucking seasons. I mean, my goodness.
I think it's one of those things where, like, we caught up, I think, maybe by 3 seasons in, because everyone was talking about it.
Yeah.
So we've been watching for the past,
I'm 6 fucking seasons behind.
You're way behind. I almost feel like
I'm more inclined to go back in time and find things that you don't have to know every single thing per season to kind of catch up with. Those shows, I'll be like, okay, cool, I'll tune into those.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely and not just a cult hit. I mean, a cult hit is like popular with a certain group. This, I think, men, women, gay, straight, it really has captured this huge audience.
Yeah, everyone seems to love it.
Is there?
I just wish I wasn't so fucking late.
Yeah, you're just so far behind. Was there ever a show that you were just like, oh my god, I could not miss an episode of this show? Like, we literally got HBO Go so we could watch Game of Thrones.
Absolutely.
Once we were caught up, we're like, fuck it, we're not waiting for this to come out on DVD.
I have one very cheesy and one cheesy, but kind of on the nerd realm as far as Game of Thrones. So the first one kind of ties into our last story. Was actually Clueless, because I was in love with that movie. I was infatuated with it.
Who wasn't?
It made me obsessed with wealth and anything that happened to be Beverly Hills oriented. I wanted a white Jeep Wrangler for my first car because of that fucking movie.
Oh my god.
And then it became a TV show, which was very stupid, but very entertaining. And I never missed an episode of that, and it was on for like 4 seasons.
Oh my god, I remember that show. I don't remember
on the
it being
UPN,
on for like 4
when that was
seasons.
actually a thing.
Oh yeah, UPN.
Yeah, and they brought most of the cast in the movie except for Alicia Silverstone, because she thought that she was actually going to be a movie star, which did not pan out very well for her. Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
But there's that, and then on the geek level, Xena Warrior Princess.
Oh, that was definitely a cult following.
I was actually going to bring that up, because if Game of Thrones were more of like that, where Xena had things that they would tie in at certain points, like the whole Callisto thing and whatever. But the episodes you can
alone a little bit.
Yeah, you can kind of pop in wherever.
Yeah.
And if you're like, who the fuck is this crazy bitch? You're like, oh, that was Callisto. She came in like 2 seasons ago, and she's like their arch nemesis, and she kind of pops in and out.
Yeah.
That was a different type of situation. It was an ongoing story, but you didn't have to be tied to the story to understand what was going on.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but I was a huge Xena fan. Not Hercules for some reason.
No?
Yeah, and you would think my gay self would be all up into a shirtless buff Kevin Sorbo, but I was never into Hercules. But Xena I was all about. Made my mom buy me a fucking chakram from the catalog that was like $350 fucking dollars.
What?
Yes. That was the one. That was the one spoiled gift I ever got as a child. Was me demanding that I get one of those for Christmas, and she got it, and it was in our fucking storage unit that burned down in flames. But it was gorgeous though. It came in like a rock. You could take it out. You could put it back in there.
What?
It said like Xena Warrior Princess. It was
that's crazy.
Beautiful. I low-key want to go and get another one. I'm not gonna lie.
I wonder what kind of Game of Thrones merchandise like that there is. I'm sure there's got to be. I like the show. We have the DVDs, but I'm not gonna buy I'm not gonna go out and buy the pop figures or whatever. Although I did buy a new pop figure this week.
Pop figures are so adorable, though.
It's Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
I already had one, and it's her original costume, like the comic book costume. But the new pop figure I bought is from the movie Batman versus Superman.
Yes.
It's her movie costume.
Okay, I like that.
Really cool. So yeah, I did get a new little pop figure. And that's my obviously my little cult following. I mean, I like Game of Thrones. We did become addicted to it. I definitely. That's probably one of the only things I'm really caught up with like that on TV. And probably any other thing is just my Wonder Woman,
And porn.
Yeah, and hashtag
totally playing around.
Dick Prince.
Oh, I found a picture of it.
Internet.
I'm sorry, you guys can't see this over there, but isn't it cute though?
Oh, cool.
It was actually metal and everything.
Oh, wow. So I'm looking at the Xena
Warrior
Princess Chakram that's stuck in the rock. That's pretty cool. Wow,
Yeah.
It's like $350?
Yeah, it was like legit.
Wow.
Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm totally getting off topic. Continue.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, that's what we do here. We open a bottle of wine, we talk about some topics.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully our listeners are, imbibing as well and enjoying the conversation. And we'd be curious what your kind of,
Nerdgasm shows that you
shit.
follow.
Yeah, exactly. Do you watch Game of Thrones? Are you, like a throwback and collect, I don't know, whatever, fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I can sell that thing for $2,000 right now. I'm sorry.
What?
Okay,
It's
let me get off.
$2,000
I'm
right
getting
now?
off my phone right now.
Oh
I'm
no, and
upset.
yours burnt up in a fire.
I'm pissed off about the dick pic and that fucking chakram now.
Oh, that's horrible. No, yours burned up in a fire. Oh my god, that's terrible.
And back on topic.
And to our next, let's go on to our next topic then. Someone who I guess you could call her like a cult sensation. She's endured through time and certainly through her untimely demise is Selena.
Yes, Selena's.
She is getting her own star on
Yes.
the Walk of Fame.
Which everyone's like, why is it taking so long? And what people don't understand
Oh my gosh.
is that
It's a process.
it's a process.
And an expensive one.
And yes, is it 55 or 60 grand to do it?
I think the last I remember it was 55.
And there's like a lobbying process and
Right.
things that
You have
fill
to
out.
get,
It's
you have to
like,
get signatures. You have to go through. You have
yes,
to do all these things and plus pay an absorbent amount of money.
yes. So, congrats.
Congrats.
Are you beating me in wine?
I am.
tonight?
I finished.
That never happened.
Yeah,
usually,
I did finish my wine. I was thirsty.
It's a hot day in here in West Hollywood.
That's
I'm
the
not
pop
mad
of
at
the
it.
cork and the pour of the wine.
I'll gulp it. Fine.
Yeah. Well, I remember the movie Selena. I don't really, I grew up in Ohio, so there wasn't a lot of Selena on the radio.
I
But I remember the movie.
My first experience was just seeing the murder on the news.
Oh, really?
'Cause, I mean, we were both children.
That's true. But you remember music.
Yeah, I do.
And I couldn't
yeah,
tell
but I
you
never
a
listened
single
to
Selena song.
I never listened to a lot of Spanish music, or because she was kind of crossing over. It's one of those things. It wasn't like she was an established American artist. She was just starting to cross over and getting big, and then that happened.
Yeah. Well, and I had never. I honestly.
And then, of course, the movie with Jennifer Lopez, which actually inspired her to sing.
I know. How crazy is that?
Yeah, which is really weird considering how successful she's been as a singer.
Yeah.
Not that she's the best singer, but I mean, just as far as that goes.
Hey, she works it out.
She does. She works with what she's given. And I always say I would rather have someone do that than someone just kind of
walk through a performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just
be lazy.
Yeah.
Just be lazy about it.
And right off their coattails.
Or bad. Or just, you know what I mean? The one thing about J-Lo is that bitch can dance her ass off. You know you're going to get a show, at least.
I want to be entertained by a singer. Yes, vocal acrobatics are amazing, but there's room for everyone, honestly.
Great.
I mean, look at Diana Ross. She was never the biggest vocalist.
Yeah.
Ever.
I mean, she does have a great voice.
Yeah, but it was never the biggest range. She was never doing a lot of runs. It's like you have to really...
And it's breathy.
And people always, for some reason, discount vocalists when they can't do all kinds of stuff. But there are a gazillion people in any black church that you go to on a Sunday who can out-sing Beyonce.
Yeah.
But how many people can actually garner your attention and keep you entertained?
Right.
Not a lot, and that's where these people shine at. So good job for you, J-Lo, and congratulations, Selena.
Yay, Selena. We'll have to go see that when it opens.
I never understood the S at the end of that.
I don't know.
I don't
know.
You know what I'm talking about, though? Like, they say, like, I will always love you, Selena's. I'm like, well, why is she plural all of a sudden?
I don't know.
If you know this, please let us know, because
please.
We're not trying to be ignorant dicks.
Confused.
We're legit confused.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get on to some gay news. Like, there's all this gay stuff on my...
Like we're a gay podcast or something. Like,
I know. You'd think we were a couple of homos.
Ugh.
So, number one is that I saw, and I don't really even have feelings about this, to be honest with you, but someone
You
posted...
don't have feelings at all, Wes.
No, I don't. Someone posted a news item about Caitlyn Jenner doing a speech.
We're breaking a rule, by the way, guys.
Don't
get used to it.
She's not a Kardashian. She's a Jenner.
She's a Jenner.
So we'll talk about her. But they were talking about, and I think in her position, I think she kind of breaks the mold of that whole thing. But they were just basically saying she's giving a speech to this gay youth organization, and they felt that she was a really inappropriate choice because she is a Republican and has voiced her support for Trump. Ugh. And so, of course, that has led to just a ton of backlash and a lot of Kate hate. And I thought it was interesting because, just a few months ago, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not like Caitlyn Jenner's #1 fan or whatever. But just a few months ago, she was delivering a speech at the ESPY Awards or whatever the fuck that was, which was actually very well spoken, and people were applauding her ability to, inspire others with her story.
Yeah.
So I get it. We've turned against her. She had her moment in the sun, and we like to crucify everybody. So, and I get that too. I mean, she is kind of a dimball, but I don't really think she gets it. It's a lot about her. It's a lot of the reason
definitely a part of that family.
It's a lot of the reason we don't talk about that family because they're just so.
Except for Kendall, she's our one saving grace. Don't let us down.
Yeah, they're just so egocentric, and everything is fucking about them that they can't see past their own universe. To maybe consider someone else's perspective for like half a fucking second. But that said, she's still entitled to her beliefs. She's still entitled to vote for whatever the fuck she wants to vote for. And I think she can give a fairly inspiring speech to gay youth, especially using herself as an example of someone who denied their own feelings for so long. I think that's why she is still so kind of...
I will say this.
I don't want to say like why she's so fucked up still, but it's like, I think the reason that people find her at odds with herself is because I think she is still in some ways really coming to terms with herself. And if you can talk to a group of young kids and tell them to just live their life as their true self.
And honestly, as much as I can't stand Donald Trump, I will say this. At least she is living her true self and sticking to what she believes in as far as her political stance. Because that's everyone's right.
And right as an American.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And again, like, I can't stand Trump. I think it's just a joke, this whole election process.
Everything about
but I will say this. She's sticking to her guns. And I've always said this. I will always admire the fact that this human being could come into the world, be an Olympian, first of all.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
And truly achieve greatness.
Yes. Be an Olympian on your own. Before Kardashian was even a household name. I mean, that was Bruce Jenner.
Right.
And its own legacy without any of this new reality bullshit fanfare.
Absolutely.
And at such late of an age.
And it has garnered, whether you like her, dislike her, agree with her, don't agree with her, just by Caitlyn coming out.
Yeah, that's
created a huge change,
I know people that can't come out of the closet.
Yeah.
Let alone go through a transgendered situation, which is totally separate. Like that's
and people are saying that's for attention and all that stuff. You got to go through quite a lot.
That is not. I mean, seriously,
you got to go through a lot.
You need attention. You already had enough attention on a TV show.
Yeah.
I mean, so I will always give props for that. As much as I may not have on certain views about things, I'm definitely one person that can give credit where credit's due, and good for you for doing that.
Absolutely.
And again, I don't like Donald Trump, and I think it's a huge joke.
But she's not going to go to a youth camp and talk about Donald Trump. She's going to go and talk about,
at the end of the day, it's a person.
Right, but she's going to go and do what she always does. She's going to talk about herself. She's going to talk about her journey and whatever, and that, which, again, I realize, even though I'm kind of taking the piss out of it, actually her story is pretty inspiring.
It is.
It really is.
I mean, it really is.
Tell the damn story.
Is.
So she'll make it about her, which is what she always does anyways.
Yes.
And
but I mean, if you're inspiring someone, then you're inspiring
So,
someone.
and you'll think those kids will obviously know the difference between someone who is a reality star and
absolutely
all that. So, I don't know. Whatever. I get it if you don't like her, and I certainly can understand if you don't want her to be even in this position. Like, I think mainly the question was like, why the fuck would you even ask her to do this? Mm-hmm. But that's the decision they made. So whatever, they'll be fine. I mean, it's one speech. It's not going to ruin their life. So the next thing I have in gay news is that Mississippi had a bunch of laws that were called religious exemption laws.
Okay.
Basically saying if you have a religious exemption to, I don't know, let's say serving a gay couple at your restaurant, well, then you could enact that and refuse them service. Mm-hmm. And it was basically a way to very purposefully make gay people second-class citizens, and a judge in Mississippi, hours before it was to go into effect, said, hell no!
Bye.
And they basically have no plans to really repeal because they have nothing to stand on. So fuck y'all!
I'm shocked. Mississippi, too.
Yeah!
I mean, you would think, but times are changing. We're getting old.
Hey, what we're seeing is, and when we talk about the whole bathroom thing in North Carolina and some of these other states, it is ridiculous and stupid as it is. It almost works to our advantage.
Yeah.
Think about this. Prop 8 in California was very deceptively passed because a lot of people didn't realize what they were voting for. They actually thought they were voting for gay marriage, first of all, because it was a yes on Prop 8. To deny gay marriage. Like, it was a very confusing thing. Plus, like, in some places they made it somehow about kids, and like it was just very deceptive.
Was very shady propaganda
weird,
going on.
People really didn't know what Prop 8 was. A lot of people didn't know what it was, or that's at least what people said after the fact. Which I think would take a lot. I mean, it would take a lot for me to be like, oh, I had no idea what the fuck I voted for. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't just make that up.
Yeah.
So anyway, after Prop 8 passed, banning gay marriage in California, we took that shit to the Supreme Court and now have, on a federal level, nationwide gay marriage. So these fights are important.
Absolutely.
And it's stupid and head banging on the wall as it might be. These are the battles that you really dig your heels in, and when you win, then you change the world. You change your world, at least. And then this is Pride Month, so I wanted to note something about a hashtag that made the rounds this week. Some of it was making fun of the fact that it even existed, but initially there was this hashtag heterosexual Pride Day. And I actually didn't see
every day of the year?
Right, but what's interesting was I didn't see a single female participating in heterosexual Pride Day. It was a bunch of guys who started
just gotten sucked off and they were drunk by their gay best friend.
And then, of course, there was that wave of spoofs of heterosexual Pride, which I actually thought, when I first saw it, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was a joke, but I didn't realize. I had to peel it back.
Many layers.
They're spoofing something that happened 3 hours ago. God damn you, internet. I can't be on Twitter 24/7.
God, seriously, we have lives, Jim. We have lives.
Please, I missed hashtag dick print breaks the internet. I missed fucking hashtag.
You missed a lot this week, and I'm usually the one that's I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Oh, well, my week was actually a little discombobulated because I was actually in another car accident this week.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter. Yeah. I was not going to comment because I thought you might have been in a sensitive spot, and everyone else on Twitter was going in on you. So I was like, I'm not going to contribute to this amount of shade. I'm just going to let this go and revisit it at the end of the week when he's over.
I did have some other priorities and some other things going on this week because I would say
I totally saw that.
I would say it wasn't my fault, but no one.
You said that a lot.
No one even.
I wasn't there. I won't speak on it. If you say it wasn't your fault as your friend, I will absolutely agree to that.
Of course. I hit a parked car, but I'm sure it wasn't my fault.
No, I'm in your corner, babe.
Yeah. So yeah, I did miss some things, but I did not miss this. My friend David Berger, or it's either Berger or Berger. I'm not sure. Berger. David. He's a fellow Wonder Woman fanatic. So we've never met in person, but we're like Wonder Woman friends, and we're friends on Facebook and all this shit. He says, and I thought this was a great. Oh God, this is so good. I'm just gonna read the whole thing. David says, I have to admit, I don't attend many gay pride events just for my own reasons, but that doesn't mean I'm not proud of who I am. I knew I was different from, i.e. gay, from about 8 years old, although I didn't know what it meant until later in life, but that's because of how people viewed homosexuals, called fags, queers, when I was younger, and I didn't find the courage to come out until I was 27. I lived in a heterosexual world my whole life, fearing hatred and rejection from everyone, including my friends and family. Every ad, every TV show, everything in the media was directed toward a heterosexual audience, with very rare exceptions. Showing gay characters was a novelty. Oops. The gay person was either deviant or a criminal or the one killed off or a clown. I really had no role models growing up. Every day was heterosexual pride day. So when I see people using that hashtag implying they're somehow disenfranchised for being straight, why don't we get a pride day? I feel pity and frustration. And I've really had enough. If you can't understand how important equality and respect is for the LGBT community in so many things, then I just don't want to know you. Stop using the Bible to diminish my existence. Stop thinking in a binary world where all men and women are born only in the body they're in. Sexuality is on a spectrum, and whether you're gay, straight, bisexual, trans, asexual, genderqueer, pansexual, whatever, we're all part of the same world. I like to think we use a rainbow flag because the colors not only touch each other, but they blend in with each other.
Ooh,
Look up in the sky. The next time you see a rainbow, the boundaries between colors are indistinct. That's because we are all part of the same spectrum. So let's start acting like it.
Amen to that.
David.
Mic drop. Please send me that.
Yes, I will.
That was amazing. My goodness.
So well said.
Yeah.
And not, putting anyone down.
Yeah,
just
saying it how it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I love it.
So really, really well said on that. And I think so many good points about that. I love
that about
David. The flag, the rainbow.
It's awesome.
Yeah. All right, so we're done with that topic. And we'll move on to our last gay topic of the week. I mean, everything's gay.
Everything's gay on the show. Come on now.
I mean, listen to the sound of my voice. Everything is gay on the show. But there's something you brought up tonight that I actually had never heard of as well.
Dicks?
No, I've definitely heard about that
Damn.
before. Yeah. No, you talked about being an aside.
Yes, this came up randomly. Okay, so everyone does them, those stupid Facebook quizzes.
Okay, yeah. So
where
this
it's
is a
like,
Facebook quiz. If you
yeah,
haven't
it's like,
seen
what
it,
are
like,
you?
Are you a top? Are you a bottom? Are you this?
Yes.
Are you that?
There's this one thing that said, and I overlooked it at first. I was like, oh, my friend posted, and like, oh, this would be a funny thing to do, whatever.
Yeah.
So it has you choose a bunch of pictures, and then they do this weird analysis, and then it says if you're a top, a bottom, a versatile, whatever. And then there was this one thing that I noticed after the fact that said, are you a side? And I was like, what the fuck is a side?
Like ASIDE.
Yes,
yeah.
Like side piece, like side of cake, side of fries.
Side.
I'm on the side, yes.
Okay. So like anal is like on the side, basically.
Pretty much,
yeah.
Yes. And it actually, I was like, what the fuck is a side? Being funny in my friend's post because it said that he was, I think, mostly a top or something like that, which is totally lying. He's absolutely not.
Yeah.
But And then everyone's like, yeah, what the fuck does that mean? And of course, just being in 2016, being lazy, and not wanting to Google, I spent more time going back to the same post where everyone's like, what the fuck does that mean?
God.
What is this?
Then
what is this? Than actually just searching it.
Just ask
I searched it. Apparently, this is a new gay term, and a side is someone who enjoys kissing, touching, mutual masturbation, oral sex, rimming, everything pretty much except for anal sex. Which, we've talked about this in the show before, I actually identify with. So, hey, I have a group now.
Yeah.
Which I'm not against anal sex at all.
Right.
It's just not, it's not a priority to me.
Yeah.
And again, we've been very open on the show about that, and I talked about this before.
Like, it's funny because some guys, it's like, I mean, literally, and I've been with my boyfriend for many years, but I will not kid you, like, I've hooked up with some dudes where it's like, they just assume the position, like, okay, put it in. Like, you're like, what? Oh, okay. Wow, that was fast.
Like, they have fleets in their pocket and they're ready to go.
Okay. So, yeah, but then obviously people have a different spectrum of what, they enjoy or what they want. So, yeah. So, aside, that's a whole new term.
Yeah.
I was unaware of that as well.
Yeah, it's really weird because I was kind of taken back to when I first came out. I was like, oh, there is a space for me to fit in here.
Yeah.
Other guys like other guys. Because I've actually felt very odd sometimes because people very much identify sexually in the gay community.
Yeah.
And I've always been kind of forced to pick a side. And I've always, well, no pun intended, and I've always been like, I don't really mind if I don't have anal sex. Like, it's there. And I prefer to be a top, but I've also been a bottom before. But I just prefer to do everything else except for that if it were my choice. Well, and there was never a label for it.
And to be fair, like, that's one thing where, it just takes that little extra effort.
Yeah.
There's a whole cleanliness aspect.
Exactly.
There's a whole,
And I just would rather just get you off and you get me off and us enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, there's just a little more involved.
Yeah.
Some lube, and what I mean?
Yes. I will say this, though. The gay community is a fucking asshole. I got some backlash from this, from me admitting that I was a side after Googling what it meant. Someone said, well, that means that you're boring in bed. I'm like, excuse me. First of all, that is not true. Nor does it mean that I'm banishing the act of anal sex at all. It just means I prefer to do everything else besides that.
Yeah.
If it happens, and that's great. If it doesn't, then that's fine. I'm completely content with just not including that in my sexual activities, which does not make you boring.
Well, no. I mean, the spectrum is so wide. Like, you could certainly be doing a lot of really kinky shit, but not necessarily penetrating someone.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, my boyfriend and I have been together for a very long time. Like, we don't always, one of us isn't always the top or the bottom, or, that's kind of the cool thing about, being in relationships. I'm sure just like, I'm horny, just whip it out. Just like, just get me off.
I want to see your dick.
Sex is communication, and, if you're
so much more than roles.
Your partner, if you and your partner are communicating and, pleasing each other and you're both satisfied, then who cares what the hell you do?
Yeah.
Put your cigarette
So if you're a side, let us know.
All right, so that's it for gay shit. Let's move on to our last couple. We have a couple tech things, and then we'll get to who do we hate
and who do we love
this week. So the big tech news that I saw this week, actually my boyfriend mentioned this too, was the Tesla car that killed. But actually, that's for real, so I shouldn't talk about it. Okay, so this automated car, was it test drive? It was a test drive. Or was it actually out on the road?
I don't know.
I believe it was. I don't think these are actually out on the road yet.
I think they are. I think what happens.
Isn't it
I
supposed to be
have a
Isn't it
friend.
supposed to be like a cruise control?
Well, I have a
self-driving cruise control. I didn't realize that the fully automated
what
car.
I've heard is, and maybe I'm mistaken if I am. I'm not being ignorant. This is what I've come to believe by people that I'm friends with on social media. I have a friend on Facebook.
Which is how we get all of our news, by the way, and all of our facts. Which we literally do not check at all.
We've been friends for a while on social media. He has a Tesla, and he likes to talk about it all the fucking time.
Hey, they're cool cars.
They're very cool, but I hate anyone bragging about anything materialistic on social media. It's so obnoxious to me. But I could be completely wrong, but he was like, "Oh yeah, my car can drive itself." So I don't know if it's, and he already had one, so I don't know if he got another one.
Well, I know there are some that
or if it was like a
park.
software upgrade situation because they're very software based.
Right. Well, I know that there are some that can park themselves.
Yeah,
and I felt like there was a cruise control feature that people were maybe abusing. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was a test. I don't know. Like I said, we have no intern.
We're old and we're.
So
I don't know what's going on.
We have no idea.
Yeah,
but
so
anyway,
correct us if we're wrong.
This car was out on the streets. Like, it wasn't a test situation. It was out on the street, and apparently a big truck was turning, and the car did not recognize it, and it went right under it. And just like in the movies when it tears off the whole hood of the car.
Yes, because the car did not distinguish the white reflection from the white paint of the truck from the sky. So it thought it was just able to go, which is why we don't need fucking automatic driving cars.
Or at least cars that aren't going to crash into a white
I'm like,
truck.
how?
Like, didn't they test that shit?
How lazy are we? Like, can we just drive? I mean, just fucking drive.
I actually wouldn't mind, given the fact that I was just in another accident this week. I mean, granted, I don't want my fucking
You're not the authority on this topic at all.
Yeah, granted, I don't want to be decapitated, but
if you're a Westifer, then you can definitely be qualified.
I certainly wouldn't mind a car that drove itself, but why the fuck is anything on the road, even if it's a test situation, where in a real life on road event, it can't respond how it's supposed to.
I think I might be having deja vu, but I think I brought this up before.
But that was a test. That was a test where when it crashed into the wall.
Oh yeah, the Volvo.
That was the Volvo, and that was like literally they're in a building,
a testing zone, and they're like, hey, here's a new Volvo, it can break itself and
crash into a wall. So this one actually killed someone.
Oh, God.
Great. Well, I don't need a car to kill me. I just a fine job of crashing my car all on my own. And when you were mentioning your friend that always brags about his car, people do that a lot in LA. They brag about what they drive,
everything, what they're wearing.
How so expensive.
Stupid. And what you will learn,
my purse was this expensive.
Within the first few months of LA, the people who brag the most are the people who have the least.
Oh,
mostly.
That shit is borrowed. It is leased.
Or they are
mommy and daddy.
Or they are about to be in repossession.
Yeah, repossessed.
Eviction.
Or they're criminals.
The people who you're like, oh, why is this douche wearing flip-flops, white t-shirt, and jeans into this fine dining restaurant are the ones that have the most money because they don't give a fuck.
Because they don't give a fuck. And yes, number one. So it reminds me of that. Plus, I'm from the Midwest, like the Bible Belt. So it's like, some people have like really nice homes or they have nice cars, and there are some people that brag about it, but mainly the people who like really have money, you would never know. They probably are in blue jeans and a button, like a flannel button down or a t-shirt, or because even though they may have money, they've always worked for that money.
Yeah,
so they're still very blue collar. So
and you're used to it. It's like anything else. You get used to something, and it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
it may matter to other people.
It's called new money. It's the nouveau riche.
Yep, new money versus old money.
The nouveau riche who have to flaunt and try to impress others, and like that's why I have the car that I have. Like I always tell people, like, I'm in the crappy Honda Civic because I fucking knew I was going to get into an accident with this car. Yes,
because Wes can't drive.
Because I can drive. I mean, I
just
physically
not
can
into
drive, just not well.
Okay, sorry.
And to be fair, like 3 of the cars that I've had that were totaled, I wasn't even in them. They were parked at the time.
His very bad aura.
Just have bad luck, apparently.
If
But
I fall down dead in the middle of a podcast, please blame him.
it won't happen unless a car crashes through the apartment. It's only with cars. It's only with cars. And that's why I didn't buy a fucking Lexus, because I know how I am with cars. I know what happens. I've been through this multiple times. Yeah, I probably could have bought a Lexus. Do you know what my insurance premiums would have been? Mm-mm.
And that Lexus would look like a now later.
No, you get a Honda.
By the time that you got done.
You get a Honda. No. But you know what else that reminded me of was, so aside from people bragging about stuff that they have, and also realizing that shit isn't important at all, is material versus experience. I was just reading something online this week. I clicked over on something on Facebook about how basically people who are fulfilled in life have experiences.
Yes.
Versus people who are not fulfilled in life have material things. So, and experiences,
makes perfect sense.
Sure, experience could cost you a lot of money. Yeah. But rather than spending that money on material stuff, actually having an experience. I mean, I can certainly say that. Just travel.
Yeah, I think it also goes
I've
down
traveled
to
the world and just being around, like, and not all of it was like super posh kind of travel.
Yeah.
Like some of it was like, I got a backpack. Where can we go? I got a bus ticket. But some of it was nice. You know, when I was in Europe, I stayed in really nice places and stuff like that. But you know, some of it has been to places where those amenities weren't even available, and just the experience of going somewhere else outside the U.S. didn't even matter if I was staying at a posh hotel or if I was on a fucking yacht. It didn't fucking matter. And that, I think, is more like transitional in your life. The experiences will change you, and you will remember those for your life. Material stuff,
I also think it's more
it goes away.
I think it's also has to do with people who are unhappy or insecure with themselves have to flaunt something so other people can visually see it, because they think that praise is going to get them more secure with themselves. Yeah. Versus if you go somewhere and you're not posting it everywhere, you know what I mean? Like you talked about this last week. When you go places overseas, you're enjoying the experience of the whole situation. No one gets to see that. You get fulfilled for that because you're experiencing it. And you're not seeking validation from anyone else. You're validated in the whole aspect of what you're doing at that point in time.
Exactly.
When it's very easy to be like, oh yeah, here's my Rolex. Everyone look at this.
Right.
It's shiny. Oh, let me pull up in my car.
Look at me in the south of Wales.
Yes.
Oh, I'm posting on the Instagram. Look at me in Cobblestone, and Lucas.
Pulling up in my ballet in my 7 series.
If you're so caught up bragging about where the fuck you're at, I cannot believe you're actually enjoying. You must be bored.
Yeah, because you're snapping every fucking second of this.
Must be so bored. Like, you must be so bored.
Enjoy it.
I'm not even thinking about that shit when I'm living my life. And that actually segues into our next topic, which is this...
We're good this week.
I know. So our next tech topic is this Apple Concert app. Speaking of kind of living in the moment and not trying to like live broadcast your life, Apple has patented technology that would essentially disable your phone at a live event, like a concert or etc. Which, to be fair, if you have been to a concert recently and you are not someone who, like Richie Rich and myself, is on the tall side, and everyone's throwing up, and everyone's throwing up their arms at full extension and holding their phones, and I'm not talking about one person doing this, I'm talking about 20, 30, 40, 100 people in front of you, all have their arms up filming the show. You can't see shit. So that's point taken. That sucks. Even for me, and I'm not sure, it's annoying. But a lot of people are like, what the fuck? It's my phone. I will record the whole damn concert if I want to. Where do you fall on this?
I say don't fuck my fucking electronics. I'm sorry. Yeah. I basically spent $800 on this fucking phone. I paid my monthly fee for whatever service provider I have. You are not going to tell me when I can or cannot do something. Not to mention, what if you live next door to a concert venue or something?
True. Or people were saying, like, what if you're in a riot? Or what if you're in a... what if the situation arises that the phone thinks it needs to shut you out when really you're trying to...
Again, clearly, with Tesla, we all know that...
Exactly.
You cannot rely on electronics to do everything. I get it's distracting and it gets on my fucking nerves as well. Totally get it. But when you go to limiting things, then...
Well, I feel like if it were an opt-in thing, where if maybe there was a campaign to be like, hey, be friendly with your phone.
Yeah.
Don't like there are people who fucking walked into traffic on their phone. So, the whole idea of like pay attention to your surroundings, that's a good idea. And I think if it were a safety feature where like it knew your GPS if you were on your phone and too close to a street and it warned you about something, or if you were filming a concert and it was like at a certain point it kind of flashes like, hey, you've been, streaming this for a while, or even if it was like an opt-in thing where you're like, okay, I get it. I do want to be more aware of those around me. I don't want to be that asshole that has to, try to live stream the whole thing, which always sounds like shit anyways.
It really does. It's like, all you hear is the person next to you going, wow, yes, bitch, yes.
Yeah, it never...
It's stupid.
Never sounds good. And if you're that far away anyway, you're not going to get...
just fucking enjoy the concert. Jesus Christ, what you're seeing. My God. And not only that, there's going to be 8,000 videos on YouTube anyways. Yes. So your 5-second view of Adele saying something from a completely different angle is going to be online within minutes.
And yet, when I went to go see Heart at the Hollywood Bowl, my mother had just told me that they missed them because they were in Ohio, but they couldn't go see them. I think my dad wasn't feeling well or something was going on where they just she was like, let's get tickets, but they couldn't go. And so I wanted to at least record a couple of the choruses of her favorite Heart songs.
Gotcha.
So yes, there were periodical 30-second, minute-long, maybe 2-minute-long points of the concert where I was holding my phone up. Granted, I was like in the Z section of the Hollywood Bowl, so even the people behind me were above me, so I wasn't really bothering them, but I do it, and I don't think it's fair to be like, oh yeah, it's so annoying, and then I fucking do it. So people have to be responsible for their own damn selves. People are going to be fucking annoying no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard people...
even people getting drunk and jumping up and down and stumbling into you is going to be obnoxious. Like, just cut it out.
Yeah. So just don't be an asshole, basically. Is there an app for that? Can they make an app for that?
Yes, don't be an asshole.
That's the app I would be behind. All right, so that kind of wraps up our tech news. We have 2 more items before we get to who do we hate, who do we love. One of them being a very, very famous cryptoid. It's the Loch Ness Monster. Now, the whole history of the Loch Ness Monster is so convoluted, and there have been documented cases of people faking Loch Ness photos and all the stuff. But there have also been people who swear they've seen something.
And these pictures have been around forever.
Yeah, well, some of them were completely fake.
Yes, absolutely.
Some of them think they've seen Nessie. Now, this is basically not a pond, but it's like a lake in Ireland. So really, it's not like it lets out to the ocean, and if there were this giant creature, it could come back and in. Like, they've already searched around for this thing pretty well. Place. I feel like they've exhausted a lot of search options. It's not that big of a body of water where
things could be lurking that far deep and whatnot.
I would be curious. However, they found some bones that appear to be quote-unquote dinosaur-like. Although, to be fair, have you ever seen bones of, like, I don't know, a dog or a bear or a raccoon?
Yeah, they are very dinosaur-like.
Have you ever seen raccoon bones?
Yeah,
raccoon bones are fucking freaky.
Fucking weird.
You're like, what the fuck was that?
Yes.
So if you don't know.
It's totally the truth. If you have not, Google it.
Yeah, they're fucking weird as
hell. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, you think you stumbled upon some new, like,
you're like, oh my god, this is like the chupacabra. No, it's a fucking raccoon.
No, it's a goddamn raccoon. So who knows?
I'm glad we both know that, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Poor raccoons.
And this is why we are on the show together.
I'm a country boy, I'm a country boy,
hey.
so I've seen all kinds of things. But yeah, so I mean, I scrolled through the story earlier and saw, some of the bones, and I was like, I don't know. The whole theory behind Loch Ness is that maybe some type of dinosaur-like creature that has evolved through the ages or survived through time. I would think that it certainly couldn't be one creature that survived this long. It would have to be multiple, which, applying some sense of logic to the situation, if you have a continued sightings, then there must be in multiple, you know what I mean? Like a family of these things.
Exactly. There's never just one.
It could not have just been one.
No.
That was just lived fucking forever. Like, that sounds really weird. So it's more plausible that it was like something maybe people didn't recognize. We were talking, I think, last week about marsupials and how fucking weird they are.
Yeah,
Maybe there's
let's
something...
not bring that up. I don't want any nightmares.
I know, let's not go back there.
I actually had a kangaroo nightmare last week, and I don't want to relive that tonight. Don't.
So maybe there's something that did particularly fester in this area.
Can happen.
Maybe it's not a monster or a dinosaur, but it could be a
creature of some sort.
Yeah, a different, never before seen species that... Whatever. I would think that's more plausible than a bazillion-year-old dinosaur that's been living in this way. What? This is so weird.
It's only peeked its head up.
The entire you can only take a picture of its fin.
Yeah, that's it.
Very smart. All right, so but that's still fun. I love stuff like that. I love like cryptozoology and all that stuff. It's interesting that Bigfoot and all these different kind of creatures that supposedly fairies and all the stuff that supposedly either have lived or live that we don't see. So I remain skeptical.
Yeah, I don't think it's true, but it's very entertaining.
You're like, yeah,
no.
I am open to the possibility. I would love something like that to be real.
Yeah.
But more logically, it seems like it would just be something that has evolved specifically to this location.
Yeah.
Or which is still cool. Mm-hmm. But it's not a 1,000-year-old dinosaur.
Yeah.
So whatever. All right. So one last thing, which we're not a podcast that has these grand goals or objectives other than hopefully to entertain you, be able to talk about some of the trending topics that are happening in our social media feeds and have a conversation that goes beyond the headlines and all that stuff. But probably the most popular podcast of all time is
us. Oh, what's it? That not the answer? I don't win?
No.
Did I get a part
don't get me wrong. We're getting thousands of downloads a week.
Yeah, we're kind of becoming a big deal.
Like, it's actually kind of ridiculous. But we're, in comparison to Serial, which is the podcast I was actually talking about.
Whatever.
We really pale in comparison. So
it happens.
Hey, we have a long way to go. That's our round of goals. Now, Serial, if you don't know that podcast, I would be surprised. If you listen to podcasts and you don't know Serial, I would be shocked. But if you don't know about it, it is a crime podcast that follows one particular story through each season. In the very first season, it focused on this case of this high school kid who was accused of murder and was convicted of murder and was in jail. And they had really unprecedented access to him and his case files. And it just, you know, it may have been presented with bias, but it didn't fucking add up.
Yeah.
You know, it just didn't, like, what? And then his friend, like, immediately the one friend who, you know, said this kid did it, I was immediately like, oh, well, he's clearly the one who did it. So, anyway, obviously this podcast, kind of like, what is that, Making a Murderer? That Netflix series we talked about, really at the beginning of this is episode 31, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we totally, we were stupid. We forgot to say happy anniversary to us because it's our 30th podcast last week. And I remembered out of nowhere, Wednesday?
So this is 31.
We're horrible human beings, I'm sorry.
But back in the beginning, the first few episodes, we were talking about Making a Murderer, which everyone was obsessed with because it's this Netflix series, very similar to Serial is essentially the podcast of, you know, version of, you know, Making Murderer. So anyway, after all this interest and all these people listening to the show, the case is now been given a retrial based on new information that's come about, all the stuff. So I just thought that was worthy and of note, especially since we're kind of in that podcasting world. So
I mean, we won't do that, but we'll definitely inspire you to be sluts and
exactly. Yeah, I was just gonna say, Rich, how do you
be a lot more sexually open with your friends?
And I was like, we
meet people a lot more sexually open. Damn it, that's what we do.
We encourage people to be housed.
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, you know, I think that makes the world a better place. Look at everyone.
I say it every week, and I'll say it again. This show is so stupid. We're so ridiculous sometimes. But I love it.
If everyone was having sex and having a good time
and talking about it openly,
it would be a much better.
You'd be a lot fucking happier.
All right. Well, that leads us to the end of our topics and on to who do we hate
and who do we love
this week. So this week, as I mentioned, I was in a car accident. I would say I hate people that cross the median and look like they're going to hit you head on and cause you to crash into parked cars, but that would sound like an excuse.
Yes.
So I would just say that I hate the fact that the automated automobile is not a reality because I need one. However, this week I love two things. This is a really hard week for me, by the way, because I missed work. I couldn't get around like I needed to, because my schedule is really tight. So I can't just I can't take public transport, and on a couple of particular days I'm traveling really during rush hour, and just the price of, you know, a cab or a Lyft or something is just not, it wouldn't make sense for me to do it.